Shout out to US ARC and all US ARC members. If you don't know what US ARC is, don't be ashamed. Just go ahead and click the third link in the description below. See what US ARC is all about, okay? You never know when legislations are going to hit your backyard, so that's why it's very important to consider becoming a US ARC member today. These numbers really do matter, and they look at it for consideration when it comes to battling legislation. So first and foremost, thank you, Phil Goss. Thank you to anybody out there who partners up and volunteers with US ARC organization. Thank you for anyone out there who's a US ARC member. And if you can't become a US ARC member today, please talk about it on your platforms. Let your neighbors know, let all your pet stores know what US ARC is here for, and it's here to fight for our animal rights. Thank you to every US ARC member and US ARC supporter out there.
T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Trap Talk Reptile Network, the coolest reptile network in the world, episode 616. New breed on the block. We got Tyler of Painted Scale Reptiles in the building. Hey, listen, this is your first time tapping in. Let's get the likes up, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, especially if you're into the ball python reptile game. This is a place to be because not only do you got MJ on a Monday night, we got Biggie, Top G, Villarino Reptiles in the building. What's good?
What's up, man?
Fucking feels good.
Finally, yeah. Finally getting over this flu, man.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Your energy is being reserved right now.
I'm good. You
have
my voice is back. I could tell you a couple of days ago, man, my voice was gone. I mean, rough. Anyone out there, if you think you got the flu that first day, go to the doctor and get that meds. Go get the meds, man. Trust me.
You got sick right after your episode last week on Monday?
So right after, yeah. Monday I did legs. I was fucking feeling great.
Ooh.
Monday night I felt this I was like, yo, I got this cough or like heartburn or some shit, right?
Yeah.
Yo, Tuesday morning I had 102 fever.
And were you all congested too? Like you had a bunch of
No, I wasn't congested yet. The congestion came a couple days later. So
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're on the up and up. So you're almost 100%. You're like 80, high 80%.
Yeah. And no one else got sick in the house. It's just weird, bro.
I dude, knock on wood, man. I know what kind of illness that is because I've had it, and especially when you're telling me during sound check how you were able to push through and do like a bunch of shit. And I've been there too, but why don't you talk about that real quick? Like you're able to get a bunch of shit done, right?
Well, Tuesday I slept the whole day.
Right.
But I did ship an animal out. I'll tell you that. I shipped an animal out Tuesday, slept the whole day. Wednesday, did my, picked up the rats, did my thing, fed some, Thursday, cleaned the mouse room on my birthday.
Oh shit! Yeah, I forgot. Happy belated birthday, man!
With a fever. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. The animals don't care. Marshall messaged me, right, and I was telling him about my day.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, the animals don't give a shit if you have a fever, So,
yep.
Bro, you know what? I got a bunch of shit done this weekend. Everything is A1 right now. So, fought off the fatigue because the worst part was the fatigue, bro. Yeah. So.
Well, I'm glad you got to get to where you're at now. I'm looking forward to tonight's guest.
Oh yeah.
Painted Scales. This dude's been long overdue, I feel like. But we both kind of were wanting to bring Tyler on. What do you know about Tyler?
He's got some amazing projects. He's got mad love in the chat right now from a bunch of different people.
That he does have a lot of people giving him props.
Yeah. I don't know him that well, but we've always been friendly here and there through messaging here. Props with animals here and there. Great guy. So yeah, it's gonna be fun.
He's always had a cool name. And now his work is living up to the name, which I think is like things that come hand in hand in this hobby. And and I feel like he's more letting the work do the talking than himself. Because you've like I said, I don't think I've ever seen him on a podcast before. Maybe he's been on one, but I've never heard him. Yeah. So
I haven't.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Yeah, we're in for a treat, man. So everyone's in for a treat. Like I said, if this is your first time tapping in, do me a favor, get the likes up. Oh, I do got to talk about this. Shout out to Rami, because I will say it is that time of year coming up in May 16th through the 18th, the Reptile Talks. If you want to see some of the best people we have in this hobby today, you can actually see them speak in person at this event. So go to reptiletalks.com. You can register and actually see all the speakers that are there. Some of the speakers that are just off the top of my head, like, you have Ari Fladrell, which is somebody who's been on this show quite a bit. And you guys know Ari's a good friend of mine, who'll be talking about bull and eye in the wild. Mark Miles, who actually produced bull and eye here in the United States as well. And we have Uncle Mike Stefani. So just to name off a couple people I feel like that are important to even get any kind of free game off of. And I feel like Reptile Talks is a place to be. So again, guys, head over to reptiletalks.com. And that's going to be 16th through the 18th, okay? And I do want to give out props to tonight's sponsor, and that's Prague Morphs, my favorite European breeders in the game for sure. Just talked to Devin not too long ago. We're going to be setting up a podcast on Trap Talk here real soon. But yeah, for now, guys, head over to Prague Morphs on IG. Check out all their work. You can also go to their website, progmorphs.com. All the links in the description below. If you're looking for the best quality quail produced here in the United States, you want to get it sent straight to your doorstep, please go to Blake Exotic Feeders on Instagram, send him a DM, or just go to his website at blakeexoticranch.com. And you can actually go to that website in the description below. But hit him up personally, man. If you want that #1 quail straight to your doorstep into that freezer, my freezer so on point because of this guy. All filled with that top quality quail. So thank you so much, Blake. Anywhere from the button quail size all the way up to large quail. So Blake Exotic Feeders, that's the guy where to go to, man. And of course, for the #1 substrate in the game, that's the chipper. Go to cocodoo.com for free shipping right now. There's free shipping on all orders over at cocodoo.com. And you could still put TrapFam25 in the promo code section and get 25% off. Holy cow. That's what I'm talking about, man. I actually need to place an order and get some new fresh cocoa here shortly as well. But guys, my favorite cocoa is the Cocoa to Go. Already broken up, less dust. It's #1 for sure. So thank you so much, the chipper, aka the Cocodoo. Go to cocodoo.com again. TrapFam25 in the promo section, and you get free shipping. Let's go. Last but not least, the GOAT. All right, I'm telling you, your favorite ball python breeder's favorite ball python. This man right here, Mark Bailey Reptiles. Been doing it in the game, 40+ year, full-time reptile keeper. My mentor, my best friend. It's a good guy right here, man. Please check him out on Morph Market. I know plenty of you have gotten that Mark Bailey heat for sure. You guys send me pics, and I love seeing it. And I know you could produce some really bad looking ball pythons from Mark Bailey. So, guys, again, Mark Bailey Reptiles on Morph Market. Check them out. And yeah, I kind of was bummed a little bit that you weren't able to catch that episode last Wednesday with Mark Bailey, because at first I was like, dude, what a lineup. And that lineup was still crucial. Marshall came through, but like, you know what I mean? Anytime I could get you and Mark Bailey on the screen talking rodents, that's pretty next level right there.
Yeah, that was an amazing episode. Whoever hasn't watched it out there,
yeah, please go check it out. Yeah, last Wednesday on Cush's Corner, dude, what a panel of people just giving mad game on how to produce rodents. You guys were talking all around the board, man. So go check out that episode. But guys, I don't want to wait any longer. Are you ready to bring Tyler on? Because I want to bring this guy. Like I said, long overdue, dude. Let's do this. You ready? All right. Hope you guys are ready out there. Hey, shout out to everyone in the chats, first and foremost. Mad love and respect, all trappers, all unit members, and everyone tapping in. But it's that time, okay? Do what you got to do to get your mind right. Do what you got to do to stay hydrated for episode 616. Tyler, Painted Scale Reptiles, coming at you right now. Let's go.
Good.
You ready for do more in the future? Trap Talk podcasts?
Yes.
Man.
Only Trap Talk. Exclusive.
Yes.
Exclusive. Oh.
So stop calling us.
Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the crop, God love it or not. I'm hot from the hop to the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with everybody, we do it. Everybody, we do it. club to pop. When I come up with the club spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the club spot, get the club to pop. When I come up.
And we're live, episode 616. Tyler, Painted Scale Reptiles. What is up, buddy?
What's up, guys? How are you doing?
Welcome to Trap Talk. How are you, my man?
Good, man. Thanks for having me on. I'm really excited for the opportunity to be here tonight.
Dude, first and foremost, yes, mutual, both ends here. But I will say, first and foremost, you're getting mad love in the chats, buddy. You got a lot of people excited for tonight, which makes me excited because I love Monday nights. You know what I mean? But not always you get this kind of energy for the guest, and this is great. So
that's good to hear. I don't think I can see the chats, but I'll take a look at them later today.
I always love it when the guests can't see the chats. It's so distracting. You're good. You're in a good place. You can check them out later. All right. No, but seriously, man, you're getting mad love and respect. And I got to say, also, you know, you are somebody who's starting to show. Well, you and I guess Dave. Who's Dave? First and foremost, is that your brother?
Yeah, Dave's my older brother. We've been doing this together for forever at this point.
Well, okay, I don't want to keep giving you props all night and not give props to your brother since it's two of you, right? So
yeah.
Shout out to Dave. Now let's get this out of the way. Is Dave someone who's just behind the scenes and like let you rock the show, or is he just a busy dude? What's up with Dave?
He's a pretty busy guy. He's an attorney, so he's pretty busy. But yeah, he's a big animal guy. He loves the animals and kind of lets me run the social media side of things.
So since kids, I'm assuming you guys always rocked with reptiles, or is this kind of later on?
Yeah, when I was a little kid, I was just really into Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter. And I think I was 5 or 6 when my mom let me get a leopard gecko.
Nice.
And my brother Dave actually built me a terrarium for the leopard gecko. So I had leopard geckos in my room as a little kid. And just by happenstance, we ended up with a male and a female. And, you know, about a year later, they had eggs. So we had to run out and get a hovabator and incubate the little eggs. So 2 leopard geckos turned into 4 leopard geckos, and then 4 turned to 8. And then, you know, by a couple years later, we had about 30 going and some actual breeding projects going when I was probably about 8 or 9.
Oh my God, you're one of those? That's epic. Yeah. Dude. So you've had an idea about this world since you were goddamn walking. You're basically learning how to walk.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Wow. That's interesting. So you always share what you were doing at school?
Oh yeah, I was always the reptile guy. I still am.
Epic.
So,
go ahead, Emilio. My bad.
Hey, it was nice to you know what's nice about the old days is, well, now we don't hear about the hovabator anymore.
Oh yeah.
Bro, every once in a while back in the day, we used to get that question. Oh, can I use a hovabator?
Oh yeah.
Remember that?
Oh yeah.
You just reminded me of that, bro. That was funny.
Yeah, man, the hovabator was the quickest thing you could buy when you ended up with reptile eggs when you weren't expecting them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then they had that styrofoam one that Zoomid make, right? Or there was also like a step up from that, which is still actually out on the market today. Yeah. It's the green styrofoam one with the lid. Yeah,
it's very similar. It's like the 2020 version of the hovabator is what you're talking about.
Ball pythons, you could. I mean, obviously you can't put a lot of clutches in there, but you could hatch ball pythons, no problem in that thing.
Oh, you could definitely hatch leopard geckos as well. If there's anything easier to hatch than a ball python, it's a leopard gecko.
Dude, I don't know, man. I'm having a great time just with the crested geckos, doing very minimal, like, you know, I get their eggs, I put them in this little little egg box that I have with Paralight. And I just let them hatch in my room, like ambient temps. So, you know, I set it and forget it. And every now and again, I'll look and I'll see one. And I'm like, wow, there you go. So yeah, hardy animals. So it was geckos. And then when did stuff transitioning into snakes?
Yeah. So the leopard geckos turned into bearded dragons because we wanted some cooler looking lizards.
Right.
And some more impressive lizards. So we were selling leopard geckos. This is probably 2006, 2007. We were selling our leopard geckos to get bearded dragons.
Nice.
And then, you know, 2008, 2009, we got some normal ball pythons. We added a pastel and a spider, a pinstripe, and then just a normal T negative albino. And then that was probably 2009. And then like 2010 and 11, we started adding boas. So we had boas then. So it gradually got more and more into the snakes. which was what the end goal was. The end goal was always the snakes.
Yeah, it seems like you've done a little bit of everything.
Yeah, like you worked up the scale, it looked like.
Oh yeah. We started with 2 leopard geckos, and by the time it was 2008, we had about 3 leopard geckos going and about 12 bearded dragons.
Right.
And we vended the show in Anaheim. I vended the show as a 10-year-old in Anaheim.
Yes.
Back then, though, it was a NARBC show. It wasn't a super show.
Okay, got it. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, because where do you live? Where are you based out of, Tyler?
So I grew up in Orange County, California. So I grew up in Cypress, California.
Yeah, you're not far.
Yeah, about an hour and a half north of you.
Oh, cool. Perfect. And you're still there now?
No, I'm actually out in St. Louis. I'm going to medical school right now.
Dude, badass. Fucking, that's sick. Okay, so listen, before we kind of get into how you're doing both of that, I'm curious. Obviously, there's a time and place. I feel like, especially in the ball python game, where you're like, all right, like you connect the dots. The investment side of things could be like endless, right? Did your brother see that vision, or was that you that was kind of like momenting your like where you guys should be heading?
I think it was more me wanting to take the risk into the ball python world, or the investment side of the ball python world. My brother, by the time we decided to go really hard at this, already had a family and kids and stable job and things like that. And I was young.
How old are you? How old are you, Tyler?
27.
Okay, I have an idea now. All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Damn, that's hungry. All right.
So I think I really pushed us towards what we have now, what we have going now, which is much bigger than it's ever been, the biggest it's ever been, and the best it's ever been, really.
So you're part of Emilio's era, like 2009, right? 2010, like that's when you started really like buying ball pythons, or was it boas for a while? Then when did the ball pythons come?
It was ball pythons, and then it was boas.
Got it. Okay, ball pythons.
So we bought a ball python, we bought a pastel, and we bought a bunch of normal females, and we bought a bumblebee to try and reproduce that back in the day. 2009, 2010, it was still kind of the Codom game, or the incomplete dominant game.
Those were thousands of dollars back then, right? Like, or what were they back then, at least?
They were about $1,000, $1,200 the most. It wasn't like the peak of the pinstripe days, the early pinstripe days, or anything like that.
That was before. That was like about 10 years before, right?
Yeah, that was like really early 2000s, or even late 90s that was going on. But yeah, we brought in a bunch of import females in like 2010 for like $25 a piece from a guy out of Florida. So the plan was to do that and then just breed tons and tons of import females. But the import females were a little bit harder to get established than the captive bred stuff.
What's amazing with you and with him, MJ, is that he was so young. He was 10, 11, 12 years old.
Yeah.
That to me is incredible. You've pretty much grown up with it in this game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you definitely your vibe's not 27. Like you're fucking like you come off like you're a lot older for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it was 2008. The first time I saw a ball python that I just really, really wanted. And it was at the NARBC in Anaheim.
Yeah.
It was Brock Wagner had a caramel glow.
And
I think I went over to his table and he had it in a nice display case, and it was just the caramel glow in the display case. And this was the most beautiful animal you could imagine. It was, game changing at the time. And I think he had it listed for $50,000 or something like that. And this is before we knew anything about caramel being what it was. It was one of the first caramel glows ever produced. And I remember being a little kid and trying to do the math of how many leopard geckos I'd have to produce and sell to try and buy something like that. And it was just an astronomical amount of leopard geckos.
You're like, this is going to take me 20 years.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it was going to take me 20 years to do that.
I can tell you my first Daytona, which was, I believe, 2007. I could tell you, aside from the pieds, right?
Mm-hmm.
The animal that stayed with me the most was a caramel.
Yeah.
Dude, those animals were so amazing, bro.
I mean,
but oh my God, what a fall from grace, bro! When Ralph started showing those animals that he was raising with like 4 kinks in one.
Yeah, talk about
bro, what a
corkscrew.
What a train wreck, bro.
Yeah.
So is that what the Carmel did? It gave kinks, or what was the deal?
Yeah, caramel females wouldn't lay eggs very consistently.
Oh yes, now I remember. Wait, so that was like the same thing with desert, right?
No, caramel females lay eggs.
Oh, got it.
But the eggs that they lay when they hatch, they come out kinked and sharp mouth and deformed and like dead in the egg. And you can breed a het caramel just fine. You can breed het to het. You'll still end up with some kinks, but it's a lot less pronounced than when you breed a visual caramel female. But again, even to this day, I still think the caramel, if it didn't have the genetic issues that it has, would dominate over Ultramel or Monarch, based on the coloration and the saturation it held and how beautiful the animals were.
And let me say this, the kinking was the worst kinking we've ever seen in the game.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a little kink on the tail or a little kink on the neck. Bro, it was like massive kinks, like you'll get animals that like this.
They look like roller coasters.
Yeah. Bro, it was so bad. When I saw those videos.
Yeah. I mean, this is back like the Ralph Davis forum days and like his old YouTube, like early 2010s.
Did he ever address it, or did he just stop posting it? Like, what did he do about it?
He killed he was honest and he killed the caramel market over 100%.
And did he like publicly say like why, or he just did it?
It came out in his videos that he had, XYZ experience with these females. Okay. All these babies are kinking, and it pretty much was the death of the caramel project. I mean, the only project that's comparable is the Scaleless project with how hot it was for, a couple of years.
Yeah.
To a fall from grace, like Emilio said.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. Listen, you always hear you don't hear this name enough, unfortunately, anymore. But Ralph Davis, like being who he was, like before even bar check, right? But you gotta think how many losses this guy probably took. Like, why he's trying to figure all this shit out, right? Like the Carmel shit, and who knows, like behind the scenes, like what this does to an individual. It's a lot, dude. It's a lot. Like especially when and it's sad because like obviously Ralph was built for this. Like he was put on earth to fucking breed snakes, right? But some people come in and drop major money and they're not built like that. And they can't take a loss. I mean, I got to tell you, the losses wear you out at some point. And I'm wondering if that's why he kind of exited out the way he did, just because he's fucking over it and just wants to live a peaceful life. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, the Ralph Davis website was my favorite website. He would post all of his clutches. He would post all of the clutches, whether it was slugs or viable eggs, and pictures of all the offspring. So that's like how I, as a little kid, started to develop like an eye for genes, was seeing all those. Now you can go to Morph Market and scroll through 40,000 ball pythons and see combos and multi-gene things and things like that. But originally you had to go to the forums, or you had to go to, Ralph Davis's website to really have a big bank of photos to compare your animals to.
And
let me say this I think it was life was lifing for him. I think his life changed fully, and I think the snakes, they had to go mostly for the most part, right?
But I hear he still has a good amount of snakes.
Oh
so.
yeah. But I mean,
last I heard he's big into like contracting work and things like that.
Oh, he's a carpenter. Like he was
always doing both. I think he was always doing both. But something I wanted to bring up, much like the desert, and the desert affected Desert Ghost in the beginning, and the caramel issue affected Ultramel big time.
For sure.
People were afraid to really get into Ultramel big time because they were afraid of the potential kinking.
Well, I don't blame them. Holy shit! Like
they needed to see proof.
I mean, imagine back then you're just like, well, what else does this? You know what I mean? And like, you want a rack full of shit that kinks? No, you know what I mean? But what's crazy, like going back to my story, how I heard of individuals like vested into desert one day or one time, and they had a rack full of these desert snakes that were just no good. And like, how do you depreciate a collection like that, bro? Like, it just sounds like my worst nightmare. Other than maybe a collection full of regurgitating emeralds, like having a rack, hundreds of ball pythons that just can't produce, and you invested heavily into it. Ooh, man, how do you bounce from that? You know, that's what I'm saying. You got to really be in it for this. You know,
I've never seen another desert, by the way.
I have one.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a desert exanthic.
Nice.
Male or female?
It's a male.
Nice, bro. But bro, honestly, I've never seen another one, bro.
Yeah, Bob Vu has a bunch of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, God bless Bob.
Yeah. Well, that shows that you guys are the good guys, bro. A lot of people just.
Why not? It's just one spot in the racks, you know.
Yeah.
That's how you know.
They're beautiful. They're as good looking as a Desert Ghost Exanthic. The problem they just don't produce.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like I have a level of females that produced for me at one point, but they're all incomplete dominant females. They're not. I think maybe one is like hypo, but I know I just won't ever use them. But I just like them. You know, it's crazy. As much as I know I could find homes for them, I just like for some reason I just don't do it. And I think at some point I will have to, just because I don't have all the space in the world. But like, you know, that's why it's like I know I like ball pythons. You know, and it's cool that. You know I'd like them. There's people who are like legit working with these and they don't like them, you know. And I don't blame you, but it's also like, you know, I'll never forget why I'm even in this. It's because of ball pythons, you know.
Yeah.
And also like I do get attached. Like, you know, I have a problem with like once in a blue moon, I'll finally it'll click in my head like you need to clean out your closet type shit. But I hold on to shirts that I've had for like years, and I like get attached to certain shirts, and so like I'm like that with my reptiles too.
Oh yeah.
Which is weird.
Yeah. I mean, I still have spiders in my collection, just because spider is still one of the most beautiful animals you can produce. Granted, lots of them have wobbles and lots of them corkscrew, but the ones that I have don't. Some of them don't have issues, and those are the ones I've chose to keep. And you know, I'll probably keep them because they've always been great to me.
When did you guys?
I've got one left because. I mean, I love it. I love her. She's 17 years old.
Yeah.
And that the history of the spider gene. I mean, I'm always gonna have her there. You know.
Yeah.
Might even produce one clutch a year with her. You know, fuck it.
Yeah, I don't know. There are some, you know, we're talking about some of these morphs, and you know, there's some of them, if not all of them, have no chance ever to like make a comeback. Maybe spider, maybe like. Because at the end of the day, there could be this one person who like somehow worked out the spider into shit so crazy where it doesn't really matter. Maybe, hopefully, but you can't like, I don't know. This guy, Emilio, fucking makes fun of all my pinstripe shit. We don't have a lot, but he's like, don't breed that shit. He hates pinstripe. But like, honestly, I saw some pinstripe shit on Justin's table at Tinley, bro. That shit was fucking hot. So, you know, like, don't make me feel like that, bro.
Let me explain. I don't know what it is, bro. I don't like the lines. I used to like it. I don't like the lines anymore. You know what I like though? I have a jigsaw that I'm always gonna keep. I like her. You know?
Yeah. There you go. And that's why
hey, nothing will ever bring spider back, bro.
I don't know. My most liked animal that I post ever is a spider. So
I don't feel that way. Like I don't feel that way like how I feel with Skellis. Skellis, God, rest in peace. Like, Skellis ain't ever gonna be anything. Like, I'm sorry that no one's gonna want to have to like take pieces off of a fucking condom-looking snake. You know what I mean? Like, it just isn't gonna work out, unfortunately. No. You know, but like I said, spider could be that one thing. Maybe, I don't know. Who knows? Who's gonna push it?
That kid did massive damage.
We have way too many great genes for spider to need to come back.
That's also true.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. Whether or not spider could come back, you know, it's
like why
up to the market. But why would you when we have 200 other genes that we can work with?
Yeah. Like albino.
maybe they'll some new spider will come. It'll be renamed.
I think Bolt in Europe is what they're calling it.
Bolt?
Yeah.
Bolt.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's a guy who rebranded Spider in Europe.
Oh, nice try, buddy. Come on.
Woo! Wow.
That's a little far reach there. Okay, but let's get back to you, bro. So I'm curious. Your logo, first and foremost, your brand. When did that become something? Like, when did you guys officially brand yourself?
Yeah, that was like late 2019.
Okay.
When we wanted, pre-COVID, but when we wanted to kind of get away from just our last name.
Okay.
You know, we saw everybody had Hansen Reptiles or Hansen Herps or Hansen whatever exotics.
Right.
We kind of wanted to get away from that. So we came up with another name, and actually my brother came up with the name, and I just rolled with it. That's not something that I have much creativity with. And the logo is actually just a cheap one from Fiverr. And I haven't gotten around to changing it. Just stuck with it because, again, I mostly do the talking around here. This is the first podcast I've ever been on.
Yes, I knew it. Thank you. Thanks for setting the record straight on that.
If I haven't met you at a show, I probably haven't seen you in real life. Do a lot of just posting on Instagram, but again, I'm pretty to myself with the reptiles. I post when I have availability. I haven't had any availability since we sold out earlier in 2024, and we just have clutches in the incubator now.
Nice.
So, yeah.
All right.
The logo came about 2019. Logo might have came in like 2020, 2021, but the name about 2019, end of 2019.
So 2019, what were you guys investing in? Like, I'm curious, like what was the vision in 2019, 2020?
Yeah, the vision early on was to get established with some recessive females. Kind of saw the writing on the wall that's where we're going, was the multi-recessive projects.
Like, which ones, buddy? Give us something.
Yeah, we're really into DG Hypo Clown, DG Xanthic Clown.
Wow.
Things like that. And then Sunset was the next big one for us. Sunset Hypo, Sunset Clown, Sunset Pied, and a little bit of mix of all those things. And then that evolved to Sunset Ultramel, Sunset Ultramel Pied.
Damn, dude.
Sunset Monarch. Most
fire.
Yeah, kind of again, can't take credit for it. A lot of it was pushed by the giants in the industry, just following and understanding where we're going based on what Justin was producing, what Bob Vu was producing, what all the big kind of leaders in the industry were doing. So really started focusing on picking up great females, clown females, desert ghost females, hypopied females, things like that, hypo clown females back before they peaked, desert ghost hypo, things like that.
Tell me if this was important to a lot of the success you're having so far with your projects. Like, it all lands on who you invest your money with, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like I feel like there are people in this hobby who could get away with whatever prices they want because you're getting the quality behind the price. You don't ask Louis Vuitton, why the hell is that luggage fucking $10,000? Like, if you're in there, and you know what you're leaving with, right?
Exactly.
And I know, like, that takes years. Like, you want to talk about, like, Brock Wagner, I feel like, is somebody to this day who could still sell $30,000 snakes. And that's really hard to do. Like, I could count on maybe one hand how many people could do that right now. You know what I mean? And Brock's been doing it for decades. But that's, like, first and foremost, we all know that takes years of passion and dedication and just putting your head down and working, which like Brock, Justin, Ozzy, these guys have done that. Mark Bailey, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But when you go to those people and get these animals from them, you're getting the purest top quality of that project. You know what I mean? So, like, one of the biggest things, and that's what's crazy, right? Because everyone wants to come in here and make the best, but can you afford the best? That's the fucking question, right? So, and there's quicker avenues. Like, trust me, how deep are your pockets? And we can get you there quicker than others. But usually, first and foremost, like, I like the long road. I believe in hets. I love hets. I think hets will make the dreams come true for sure. You know what I mean? But it all depends how deep your pockets are, but getting them right. Would you agree, Tyler? Like, it's all about who you fucking spend your money with. Like, that determines the quality of your projects.
100%. And I mean, with us, I don't run a huge operation. I kind of run I know everybody says it, the boutique style operation. Right. But for me, the most important thing was buying the best example, because that was going to be my breeding stock, the foundation of my breeding projects. So again, most of the time I was going straight to Justin or straight to Bob. Bob Vu really is the person I've bought the most amount of snakes from, to really push projects. But all those breeders you mentioned are great breeders. Brock Wagner's, who I got my Sunset project from. Mark Bailey, I got a snake from last year.
Right.
So again, Ozzie Boyd's. When I want Orange Dream, I'm going to go to Ozzie Boyd's. I'm not going to go to somebody else.
Right. Right.
I'm going to go to Ozzie and ask him, to pull out his best Orange Dream that he has.
Right.
And when you're looking for the best animal, you're looking for animals that aren't just on the internet. You're looking for animals that they have, that they'll list on their, websites, in their email lists, things like that, or just through reaching out to them directly, to find the animals you're actually looking for.
I got a topic for all of us, and I know how Emilio feels, but I want to hear how you feel about this. Clown, has your love for clown decreased or increased as far as where you're headed with your projects? Because I will say some people feel like clown is not even important to coming into projects nowadays, which is wild to me. I'm sorry, but I just want to hear how you feel clown is currently in your projects and overall market-wise, potential-wise.
I mean, for me, I think clown is still the measuring stick for every new gene that comes into play. Basically what everybody does and what everybody's done for years now is, does it work in clown? Does it work in pied? Does it work in hypo? Does it work in all of the blue chip recessives? And clown's here to stay. I mean, the fact is that clown's going to be around forever. We haven't seen any of these combos in any of the multi-recessives. The hypo clown, the DG clown, the DG hypo clown. We have so much room to stack onto the clown project that I don't think there's anywhere for it to go. And the other thing is, we haven't found a recessive that does anything similar to what clown does in terms of reaction with genes.
Consistently, yeah.
There's a reason why everybody tries it in clown, because the last 25 genetic mutations to come out of Africa or to come out of collections have worked well in clown. So again, for me, clown's here to stay. I have normal clown females that I'll have until they stop producing, because I can always put something to them and produce great animals. Whether, they'll always be investment animals, just single gene clowns, obviously not.
Right.
But with the right genes, you can make amazing looking animals that will always sell to the pet market to grow the hobby as a whole.
Go to Emilio.
I don't know. What I'll say is this: clown easily could be said to be 1, 2, and 3 in the investment market.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything close to it. I think most combos out there, they either have to have clown, pied, or puzzle. To me, Monsoon. That other than that, you have to sit down and really think about it. Am I wrong?
No.
I mean, what I would say though is there is a ton of clown out there, so I don't think someone should have a full collection of mainly clown.
Be selective.
You got to be a little careful.
I mean, it also depends, like you said, what's in it though, right? Like if you have nothing but clown females, but they have insane incomplete dominance in them with het, whatever the hell, like it's like I said, all these it all lands on the quality of the morph that you have, because what you could make, at the end of the day, if you make a cool looking snake, it's going to sell. Like really good quality looking snakes, like they sell, you know what I mean? But it's also like you have to have something in it that not everyone else is working with, and so that's why, to Emilio's point here, like you better have some sort of game plan with all that stuff going on with it, like instead of having one direction, which is clown, which I mean, and that's the thing, like people think it's as easy as buying one or the other project and just having a couple snakes. No, dude, like you better have space. It gets crazier and crazier. And I feel like people definitely underestimate how quick a room could get filled, like how quick racks could fucking fill up, you know what I mean? And then how quick that rodent bill could catch up to you if you're not producing your own rodents. Like the things of heaviness, definitely. That's why I feel like 5 years, I feel like there's a 5-year window. Like if you could push doing reptiles for 5 years, I think you're good. You know what I mean? But even then you don't like I said, I've had a consistent plug Tyler on rodents for going on 8 years. They've got hit by a heat storm that just really fucked everything up. And now I haven't gone through them in like 6 months. And that's sad. Like man, that was like they're like family to me. You know what I mean? And so, and just like that, everything could get rocked. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I mean, the same thing happens to collections too. You know, reptile collections, there are fires, there's things you can't control that ruin people. You know, ruin projects, ruin everything. And I think it's huge just to keep moving forward with your projects. Obviously, you know, breeding a clown to a clown isn't going to be a great idea in 2025.
No,
you know, breeding a multi, you know, incomplete dominant DG clown to a clown will still produce amazing animals. You know, but right now my goal isn't to produce clowns. My goal is to produce, you know, clowns that are double het DG exanthic, clowns that are double het DG hypo, but that have 4 or 5 incomplete dominants in them. And, you know, when I'm looking to push my projects, that's another thing. You need to be able to reinvest in males to be able to push your projects, but you need established females to be able to produce with those males in their first year of breeding. So a foundation of clown females is great. A foundation of double het DG clown females, still great, because you need them to be able to push your projects forward.
You want to know what people aren't even considering? And it's just because we're not used to it. Like, we come in here and just breed, but like, dude, you should think of a foundation to sell these first. You know what I mean? Because you're not going to keep all of them. Like, let's be real. And one of the things I kind of like, I go, no, don't do that, is like when I have somebody new who's in the game and they have adults that could breed. So they just breed just to see what could happen. And I go, all right, that's cool. But if you do that again and again and again, you're going to have a bunch of shit that you're not going to know what to do with. And then now you have to feed these little mouths all the time. You know what I mean? And like that could really put someone's ego in check when they have all these snakes that they produce and they can't sell not even fucking one of them. And then it turns into like, I can't not only sell these snakes, I can't afford to feed these snakes. And then it's just not fun no more. You know what I mean? And then like, let's say to those kind of people, life happens where they lose their job or something happens, right? Where the money's fucked, dude, you have no choice. You know what I mean? So that's why I feel like, dude, just, but it's also, I've been there. Like I actually had cool snakes I paired up, but still like, I had adults and I was like, I just want to see if I'm good at this. And again, I think that's cool at one shot. But if you're doing that with 10 snakes that just don't make any sense to like hold back or anything, dude, and you don't have a game plan to sell, like you're not vending, you don't know anybody, dude, fuck, good luck.
Go ahead. Go for it. I think people are gonna have to be more selective.
Have to,
you know, because those people you just spoke of, they're having to auction animals at $30, $40, $50.
Yeah.
I mean, bro, I don't know about you, but I'm not going to go ship an animal for $50.
I don't know. Maybe with Morph Market shipping, you can.
Yes, because you will.
No. I mean, damn, bro. Like, I better have like 5 shipments scheduled or something, bro. I don't want to go ship a $50 animal. So, guys, be selective out there. Pay attention. You know, do your homework. Fucking learn.
And I think one of the biggest things that people don't think about is trying to establish a wholesale outlet for a lot of these misses, especially people doing triple het to triple het, you know, where you're going to have a lot of misses just by the numbers, by the math. The math isn't on your side when you're running triple het to triple het. You need a place to get, you know, for lack of better terms, get rid of the animals that don't fit your projects, right? Because they will fit somebody's projects, whether it's a brand new pet owner or something, they're going to fit somebody. You just need to establish a connection to be able to wholesale those animals. And another thing that people need to, you know, keep in mind, when you're breeding just to breed, you can double, triple, quadruple, you know, 10x your collection in a year. And that can get really, really overwhelming, to say the least.
Especially for somebody who's like less than 5 years into it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just not like, you know, like I said, I definitely been there just to see if I'm capable, because I didn't know if I could even like, am I even capable of having a snake hatch out? And once I did, it was great. Like, you know, but that actually was the year before I had all my plans and set to want to breed, you know, but I just know, for instance, right now, and that was during a time where I think the market was starting to kind of creep back up, and it was right before COVID. So I was still able to sell whatever I think my first year, I think I had 8 clutches or 7 clutches, like my first real year, and I didn't have any issues selling. And then that next year was COVID 2020, and that's when it wasn't real life. It was fucking. I posted on the Instagram, was sold. Like, you know, I like I said, I didn't have Morph Market until 2 years ago, and I've been in the game for 7 years. So like, it was just a different time. Now it's like you got to do everything methodically, where you're not going to fucking have to check out because of the finance part of things. You know what I mean? Like, you got to look at the bigger spectrum of things as far as the rodents, the size of your room. Like we're talking about, like, okay, having to maybe wholesale these head to head, like these triple heads. Well, dude, if you're just now coming into this, you should be keeping probably all those, to be honest. Like if you really want to have numbers on your side and you're having to even think about getting rid of 100, and especially if they're like 100%, right? Or if you get them tested, dude, don't, if you're building an empire, like people like Will Morrow's, like people who are able to hit what they like. Mind you, I said Will Morrow. I saw a DG puzzle in 2022, I think, and Bill had Will had a bunch of them. You know what I mean? Because he doesn't, back then he wasn't selling shit. Like he was holding back everything, and that's like a lot of other things people don't realize. Is like, dude, you need to be your best customer for the first few years, if not forever, if you can. Like we all know Justin still keeps his favorite ones that he wants. Same with Emilio and everyone else. Like that's the point of the game. You keep back the best stuff.
Yeah. I mean, again, like you said, people doing it one time to see if they like breeding or they like raising snakes or they like hatching snakes is one thing. But if you're just breeding a pastel to a pastel just because you have a female that's ready to go, I mean, I don't know why you do it. Realistically, it doesn't make a ton of sense for the market. It doesn't make a ton of sense for you.
Unless you can sell these at a swap meet.
No way. Hey, but check this out. I got a buddy that went to Tinley, right? And he has a reptile shop. He went to Tinley, started buying a bunch of wholesale stuff to bring back to his shop. Bro, bro, if I told you some of the stuff he bought with 200 grams on it, bro, pastel lemon blast clowns with 200-gram lemon blast clowns, $30.
Well, that breeder $70 to get it to 30.
Yes, you took the words out of my mouth, brother. Dog.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah.
That hurts.
But like, obviously I think the writing's on the wall, especially the last couple of years. Like
be selective.
Less is more right now, dude. Less is super more, because it's all about like harvesting and like honing down on what's the best of the best of what you have. And everything you are working with should be the best in your eyes. Like otherwise you shouldn't work it yet or hold on to it until something cool comes along. Like you said, a good point. You have those clown females you hold on to. You never know, dude. Like you never know what is popping next that you could put into clown, and you have all these females ready to go. Like it's kind of something where, you got certain spices you don't use every day, but it's there ready to go once you need it. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah.
I'm with Tyler on that 100%. What do I always say on this show? Bro, you get a powerful male, and you're in the game.
Yep.
You're in the game, bro. You got them girls, you're in the game. Okay?
Yeah. I mean, again, not the game that I like to play, but if you have, all the money in the world and you go buy a Cosmos male or something like that, and you have 12 clown females ready to go, or better, if you have even better than that, great. But if you have 12 big clown females that give you 8 to 10 eggs a year and you breed as many of them as he'll breed, you're in the game. Like Emilio said, you're in the game, and you'll be able to play the incomplete dominant game. That's just not one I've played. I've taken more the het route and grown up double hets, grown up triple hets, making my own triple hets, things like that. But again, it'll definitely work. It can work as long as you do it the right way.
All right, so ball python viral moment right now. I mean, I don't mean to shock the world, dude. And I'm upset saying this, but it is what it is. Seen a few of them after I saw Ralph's in Europe. Not a Cosmo fan, dude. It's starting to make me upset. It's starting to piss me off. Yes, I'm sorry, dude, but they're not the way I'm seeing the homie Ralph has them. You know what I mean? Like I'm seeing them here, but they don't look as sick as that fool has them. I feel like something's missing. Now, mind you, it hasn't been worked enough yet. It's still brand new, and I'm not fully checked out on Cosmos, but I love this gene for a long time now. Like I've been a huge fan of this gene because the way I've seen it on am I saying his name? Ralph, right? Is it Ralph? Ralph Sim, I think. Yeah, Ralph Sim. Shout out to Ralph. Yeah. So anyways, I feel like he's had the best example of Cosmos where like I know that hasn't been a cheap project to get your hands on, and it's just now starting to like kind of show blossoming in the hobby. And obviously I was at the one of the number one guy, if not, the number one guys facility looking at a bunch of cosmos. I love you, Justin. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to shit on your cosmos, but I just wasn't like, it wasn't grasping me the way thought I would be grasped the way I saw them on the internet, dude.
Well, two things there. I think some of the very best ones that Ralph has posted, he's come out now and said there's also like a secondary gene involved,
right?
That he calls white flame. So a lot of them are like Cosmos white flame clowns. Those are some of like the craziest ones that he's posted. And the other thing is, I saw just the video that Justin posted of the DG Cosmos clown that he hatched, and I thought it was ridiculous. I thought that animal was amazing.
When did he post that? Was that recent?
It was on YouTube probably a year ago at this point.
Oh, a year ago. Okay. All right. Mind you too, hold on. I didn't see any Cosmo DG shit. I only saw Cosmo Clown shit. And I didn't see nothing with DG in it. So
that's amazing. If you look at that video, I think it's about a year ago. It's like introducing the Cosmos DG Clown or something like that on Netflix.
All right.
I'll tell you guys this. I haven't seen enough to really give the opinion MJ has. But what I've seen from, let's say, Cosmos, Bambino, Malice, I'm very intrigued.
Yeah.
I want to see more.
I mean, I even saw some super voodoos that look amazing. So I think the granite clown is here to stay for the time being.
Yeah, I think the market's really loving that in clown. The real dark stuff, the granity stuff, that dark grit that even
I'll tell you right now, one of my favorite clown looks is this one right here. I'm gonna show you the one on Tyler's page. This one right here. Like, I love this shit. I love that look.
That's my favorite stuff.
That right there. I look at how much I would want to work on, like, foundation wise on a snake like this, like with all the other stuff I have going. And man, I love Stranger, man. And I'll always be a huge Stranger fan, no matter where the market turns on it. I don't give a shit. But this right here, the dark, if you can have that dark and brown go good together, and it age, I know this snake will age well for sure. Go ahead.
Now it looks exactly the same as it did in that photo.
Does it have hypo though?
Does it have what?
Does it have hypo? Is this possible hypo?
That's head hypo. I got to test it. It's head hypo.
That's huge.
I haven't tested it for monsoon. I know that a lot of them are posset monsoons, and could be.
Oh, so that's like might have het monsoon in it.
A lot of the original Stranger stuff has het monsoon in it, just based on how it came out of the facility out in Europe.
You don't say. Ooh,
I guess it's het moray, but
moray
from Iris.
Yeah.
Dude,
that's dope.
So
the dark clowns, the Exanthic clowns, the DG clown stuff. To me, it's where we are with clown.
Yep.
And I think we're going to continue that's where it's going to be.
Yeah, I think it's just stacking the right genes on top of them. Working multiple incomplete dominants to really accentuate the pattern. Really bring out, the flaming and, the granity pattern and the insane things that you can produce in clown that you can't produce in other recessives. Because I guarantee if you took Cosmos into any other recessive, it wouldn't have the same reaction as it does in clown. Same thing with, Stranger. The Stranger clown is the best looking Stranger that I've seen.
For sure. Yeah.
And I want to say shout to Straight Fire, shout to Levance. He's probably been like my biggest Stranger like motivator. Like I love the shit that him and his wife post Stranger combo wise with like DG and everything. And it just paints the picture on the wall, like how crazy Stranger of a gene is going to be for a long time,
Every time I've seen a nice combo with something like that with Stranger or Hurricane, especially, I see Levance post a picture of a female on eggs the next week.
Yeah. So I love Levance, man. I always every time I see him, obviously he's always sitting in his chair at Tinley. I go sit next to him and I go, bro, you got some amazing shit. He goes, just staying out the way. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I think it was actually him on your podcast that inspired me to start buying out of Europe. I think he said on your podcast, one of the first ones where he was like, don't be afraid to buy out of Europe or something like that. So that's when I started looking into Europe for some animals, and got a little bit less afraid of importing animals out of Europe.
Yeah, and it's just something you don't think you can do. Like you think like, oh, I need to know so and so, and no, you don't. Like you just need the importer exporter to do the paperwork. But other than that, like it just costs money first and foremost. It has to make sense. Like if it's the volume of animal, or if that one animal is worth X amount of dollars, then you're gonna be paying about $1,000 at least, if not more, on all the paperwork and shit. But dude, yeah, if you want that animal, I think Krista, right? Didn't Krista get a snake from Europe? Right, Emilio? Didn't she get an
Ultramel Het Sunset?
Yep. So, boss, damn, I've never even done any of that Europe shit yet.
I haven't either.
It's really easy now with DDI, Dutch Dragon Importers.
Yep,
they've made it so easy. It's the same as buying a snake out of the United States. It takes a little bit longer and it's a little bit more expensive on the shipping side, but it's nothing crazy.
So I got a question for you. I feel like this is a thing I still get asked a lot is, coming into the investment side of this hobby, for yourself, like, were you like already on game with stacking females and getting males later, or were you finding the males the same time you were inquiring about the females? Like, how are you game planning like the projects when it comes to the sex ratio?
Yeah, I think every breeder or every hobbyist will start by buying things that they think look really cool. Whether it's male or female, they'll buy a really cool looking banana and a really cool looking pied and a really cool looking, clown combo.
Right.
And then figure out the breeding side of it later. But with us, by the time we're buying really expensive animals and adding really expensive animals to our collection, we already had a foundation of females. So now, I really like to produce my females and purchase a male. I like to hold back my females and purchase a really nice male to be able to take to multiple females. I think it's the best way to infuse new blood into your collection, as well as infuse new genes and new mutations that you don't have, or just animals that fit perfectly into what you have, that can take you to the next level.
And what would you say that, Emilio? Because obviously with you, like later on with your projects, I feel like you had a lot of the females that you needed, and you were just plugging away by getting the powerful males, right?
Yeah, I believe in that 100%, bro. Anytime I want something new, get something with some power, something I could play with, something that makes sense, I'm with him 100%. He's speaking my language, bro.
And I got a question for you guys real quick. Obviously I know it just comes with the maturity of the game. Like, I'll never forget staring at a pied for $300 and like telling myself, I'll never spend that kind of money. And what a joke that was, right? But like for people who are in that position, wondering like, how do I know what I'm spending this money on? And we're obviously thinking like $2,000-$3,000 on a male. Like how do they know they're purchasing the right animal for that money? And I obviously my first thing would be like, well, who are you buying it from, right? But what would you guys say? Like how can someone check boxes off in their head knowing that they're making the right call, spending something with a comma mark in it on one fucking animal?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing when you're looking to purchase that animal is you probably should have done some research into what the market is.
Yeah.
What the market looks like. Don't just go buy your first snake as a $2,000 male when you have no females, you have nothing, because the animal that depreciates the fastest is the male. The longer you can hold off on buying your male, the better. You'll be able to buy a better animal for the same amount of money. And I think the way, like you said, buying who you buy from, but also who you're able to talk to, who you're able to network with, and run ideas by. I'm a big fan of the Patreons. I'm in Justin's Patreon and I'm in Bob Vu's Patreon, especially.
Yeah. You got the view of both, the best of both worlds. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, because obviously Bob has his vision and the way he puts things out. And then you have Justin with the way he does this. But all these are fucking breadcrumbs. Like everything. That's so smart.
Yeah. And I think, again, you can join a Patreon for a relatively low amount of money each month. And the wealth of knowledge that exists in those Patreons, not only does it get you access to that breeder, to Bob Vu, to somebody who feels like is the mecca of ball pythons when you're a new breeder, but you also get access to all those other breeders in the Patreon. A bunch of like-minded people who can give you good advice. But another thing that you need to do is you need to have people around you who won't just tell you, yes, it's a good idea.
Yes.
I feel like a lot of people nowadays are just so excited for everybody, so excited that they have a pairing and a lock. And you know, a lot of people are excited for the sake of being excited and not actually excited because it's a great pairing or it makes sense or it's going to be good for the market.
It's misleading positivity, I call it. Like it's like okay, you're being nice and exciting, but you're doing it just to be like, yeah, like do it. I think that's sick. I think that's sick. You know, like almost either like shoo them away or to like purposely mislead them, which I felt like I definitely dabbled with a couple people who I felt like were like telling me, yeah, because they knew I was fucking going to go down a rabbit hole the wrong way, you know, for sure.
I was going to say back when I was a little kid, even people were hoping that animals wouldn't produce for people. Breeders were hoping that, you know, the next big breeder wasn't going to have success, wasn't going to be able to produce a clutch. Yeah. They were hoping that male wasn't going to breed or the female was going to go off food and not get up to size. And nowadays everybody's so happy for everybody that sometimes it borders to a point of everybody's too happy for everybody. And we've gotten to a point where everybody says, oh, this is amazing. This is great. But it's not a great idea. And you need to find people who will tell you the truth, will tell you what not what you want to hear, but what you need to hear regarding buying an expensive animal.
And like when somebody's being that kind of positive to you, you can't be mad at it because it's a positive thing. But I dig deep in that and I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. You know what I mean? Like, and mind you, it's still petty. You can't be upset. Like, okay, take it for what it is. But obviously, like, you know, when it comes to ideas, right? Like, does this male go good with this female? And you're just asking one person? No, dude, I'm sorry. But if you really, first and foremost, like Tyler said, your research should have already been done well before even considering this. But if you do, and I've asked Emilio, like I said, he made fun of my pinstripe. I asked him of some pairings, like, should I do this, that? And he's like, don't do anything with pinstripe. And that's his honest, like, and I respect Emilio's input. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, like, if you're just getting advice from one person and not exploring other options, right? Because that person you're asking might not even give two shits about those genes that you're working with, or they might feel some type of way. And that's why it always lands on, if you like that snake, if you like with what you see, fuck what anyone has to say. Like, you like it, keep it. You know what I mean? But like, I don't know. I feel like some breeders are really good at clawing their fucking claws on new ones and almost like convincing them, like, you should just be buying from me and fucking trust me. You don't need nobody else, you know? And it sucks to get sucked in something like that, because it could be a year or two until you start opening up your eyes and go, holy shit. Like you're talking like the multiple Patreon groups and all that. Like, dude, there's places to take advantage of everywhere. You know what I mean? It's not just one person. And I hope people knew or listening to this and know that, you know?
Yeah. And I think one of the biggest things to do as a breeder in general is try and bring more people into the industry. But one thing that I do, I mean, I don't have every project. You know, I don't have every recessive. I don't work every recessive. I don't plan on working every recessive. But I know people who do because of these Patreons. Yeah. Because I've talked to breeders for, you know, forever. I know who's working what project. I know where to point people. And, you know, I think that's big too. You know, reciprocating that kind of, you know, referral back and forth in this industry is huge. Amongst smaller breeders, right? You know, people like Justin can have every project and have every recessive. People like Bob, same thing, can have every project, can have every recessive. But, you know, when you're breeding out of a house or a bedroom and not out of a facility, you're limited, and you just need to work with what you have and make it really, really the best that it can be.
Yeah.
There's no better way to lose your customer base than trying to keep them for yourself, get them bad information.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, the word gets around, your reputation goes to shit. So anyone out there doing that?
Yep, that exactly. Go to me, I'm sorry.
Anyone out there doing that, bro, shame on you.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, again, I don't have the best animals in all the projects. I don't have them. If you're looking for them, I can point you in the right direction. And I'm really not that worried if you go and buy from somebody else, because this market's big enough for everybody. You know, and a rising tide raises all the ships. Right. Yeah. If Emilio sells a snake today because I sent somebody to Emilio, or you, MJ, if you sold a snake today because I sent somebody to you, that person's probably going to buy 5 more snakes, right? That nobody buys one ball python. They start with one and then they get the second one and then they have a rack. And as long as we keep building the industry and building the hobby from the floor up, this industry will go on forever. You know, been the end of the ball python or the end of the reptiles since I was a little kid. It's been over for the last 20 years. It's been over. But as long as we keep building the base foundation, keep producing amazing animals, there will always be reptiles keepers. You know, and even the worldwide market is getting huge. Japan is getting huge. Korea is getting huge. Indonesia is getting huge. I mean, it's endless. Mexico now, it's endless. I mean, this game is just growing and growing and growing.
I got a dude from Korea who wants to buy every single emerald tree bow if I produce any this year, and like wants to put deposits down on. I'm like, yo, buddy, I was like, I'm not Ed Marino. I cannot fucking commit to, even though it's cool that you're asking me this, but I'm getting like definitely like bombarded by Korean dudes wanting some sick shit.
Yeah, I have the same thing with Japan. They're really interested in the Mandarin hypo, the NR Mandarin hypos right now, and you know, just being open to it. A lot of it comes in kind of looking like spam. A lot of the messages that come in, but being open and answering everybody's message, no matter how, you know, minimal it could be.
Yeah, or just being cordial and starting a conversation and having that like that relationship right there ready. You know, you just never know. You never know who's going to be the big buyer.
Yo, so you just brought up Mandarin. My mind could be a little fuzzy. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember seeing a Super Mandarin Hypo Clown yet.
I'm pretty sure that TJ has them.
Bro, I cannot wait to see that animal.
TJ, come on, buddy.
He doesn't post much of what he has, but the sneak peeks that he posts make me think that he probably has one.
Dog, I want to see that so bad.
Damn.
Yeah, I want to see that so bad.
All right, listen, we're going to get to that hottest next morph that Tyler thinks is cooking. And for now, guys, we got to get to commercial break. So we'll be right back. Sorry for the interruption, folks, but a quick word from our sponsors. Diversity when it comes to a reptile diet, I feel like is so important. So this is why I'm proud to announce today's sponsor, Blake Exotic Feeders over in Florida.
What is up, everybody? Blake here, the owner of Blake's Exotic Feeders. We have all quail available at all times, produced here at my ranch from button day old, from Conturnic day old, all the way to extra large Conturnic quail. If you guys have any questions, DM on Instagram. Appreciate the support, you guys. Make sure you guys hit me up. We have all the quail, like I mentioned, and everything is shipped right here from my house.
If you want the #1 quail sent to your doorstep, and more importantly, fed to your reptile, no better company than to go to than Blake Exotic Feeders. #1 quality in quail, hands down. And I gotta tell you, my reptiles love it just as much. Give me a peace of mind to know that these quail are grown on his property and it's not bought third party. Head over to his website, Blake Exotic Animal Ranch, to place your order, or you could just hit him up directly on Instagram. Let him know that the Trap sent you and he'll take extra good care of you. Thank you so much, Blake, for supporting the Trap, and also thank you so much for sending me top quality homegrown quail for my animals.
Hi, I'm Devin.
I'm Teresa, and we are Prague Morphs. We are based in Czech Republic, a small country in the middle of Europe.
We really love animals that revolve around multi-recessive projects, and one of our very favorites is Hypo. We're really looking forward to clutches that are coming this season, and some of those are Hypo Clown, DG Clown, Hypo DG Clown, and one of our all-time favorites, Hypo Puzzle.
Hope you enjoyed the next episode on Trap Talk, the greatest reptile network in the world.
If you guys want to see next level cutting edge ball python projects, please make sure you head over to their Instagram to follow all their amazing work, and head over to their website to see what they could possibly have available by heading over to progmorphs.com. Thank you again, Devin and Teresa, for bringing some of the biggest heat worldwide in the ball python game. Gee. Sorry for the interruption, folks, but a quick word from our sponsors. You know, longevity is one of the biggest things I strive for when it comes to thinking about being a part of the reptile industry. That's why I'm very proud about today's sponsor, Mark Bailey over at Mark Bailey Reptiles. 40 plus years, full-time reptile keeper, enthusiast. This guy, you can catch all his amazing ball python projects on Morph Market. So make sure you head over to Morph Market, and that's Mark Bailey Reptiles on Morph Market. See what he has available currently. And I gotta tell you one thing, he's one of the biggest and most respected ball python breeders we have today in the ball python game. So shout out to Mark Bailey over at Mark Bailey Reptiles. Thank you for all the support. And again, make sure you head over to his account on Morph Market, see what he has available. Thank you so much, Mark Bailey over at Mark Bailey Reptiles. Shout out to today's sponsor, and that is the COCO Dude. #1 chipper substrate in the game. Everything you see behind me, all my emerald tree boas, my green tree pythons, are all over that beautiful COCO chip over at COCO2.com. Go to COCO2.com, place your order. I prefer the COCO to go. It's already broken down, less dust, the chunks are perfect. But yes, I like the COCO to go. No matter what your total is in your cart, if you put in TRAPFAM25 in the promo code, you are now going to get 25% off your entire order. Thank you so much to COCO Dude for doing that for all my trappers. Again, #1 substrate in the game. Less duck sheds, less dust. It's the best place to be, and that's the COCO Dude. Again, COCODude.com. Put in promo code TRAPFAM25 and get yourself 25% off the entire order. Thank you so much, COCO Dude. Cheers. All right, get the likes up if you're just now tapping in. We're at that point where I'm going to ask Tyler. Well, first and foremost, Tyler, let's say the hottest scale morph, right? Let's put a scale up there, right? How close in your fucking scale is Sunset to the top of that hottest scale?
Pretty high.
God damn.
Pretty up there.
All right, now let's talk about Sunset, okay? So you got into Sunset when?
About 2019 is when I bought my first visual.
So you're like Sunset's been around, okay, but hasn't been available to a lot of the people. So you're one of the very first ones, I guess, in a sense, who were getting their hands on whatever that was available at that time in 2019 with Sunset.
Yeah, it was pretty much just a visual Sunset. I mean, that was like the top of the market.
Where did it come from?
That one came from Bob Vu.
Damn. Okay, so 2019, you got a Sunset from Bob Vu.
It might have been early 2020 that I got the Sunset mail. But before that, again, they were pretty hard to come by. There were very few on the market at that point.
So what did you do? So it was a mail you bought, you said, right? And so you put them to a bunch of clown stuff in the beginning, or what was your game plan with that snake?
Yeah, the first thing we wanted to do was to make our hets, right? To try and outpace what everybody else was doing, was trying to make, more and more Sunsets is basically what everybody else was trying to do. So try and go to the Sunset Hypo Clown, the Sunset Hypos, the Sunset Pies, things like that. Sunset Clown, again, like you said, that was first and foremost. So now finally we have, a lot of nice animals that are going to be produced this year. We should have some Sunset Clowns this year. We should have some shots at Sunset Pies, although pretty long odds, and then some shots at, Pies that will be double het, Ultra Sunset and Ultra Hypo.
Okay, so you want to put Sunset Ultra Pied stuff into one.
Oh yeah,
That's exciting right there.
Yeah, we have a clutch. We just put it in the incubator last week. That was should produce Ultra Males that are double het Sunset Pied.
What are you gonna do if you make a bunch of Sunset pies that look fucking pinstripe? What are you gonna do?
Be pretty sad. Yeah, it's rough, but
it's possible, right?
It needs work. Some of them have been pretty rough. I'll be the first to admit the Sunset Pied needs some help. It'll need some yellow belly. It'll need some enchi, some lace. To really accentuate.
Okay, here's the thing. I want to say pastel because pastel pied goes well, but wait, yeah, we can say pastel. Hold on, because brightness helps Sunset. We want the bright stuff with Sunset, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm taking pastel into my Sunset Pied. I don't think that's I rather use, Orange Dream, Yellow Belly, enchi, lace really is what I hope to be able to get into the Sunset Pied to bring back a lot of the pattern. But again, some of the Sunset Pieds, that's not the forefront. But I think the Sunset Ultramel Pied is going to be something special. Just with how bright and colorful the Sunset Ultramels are. I don't know if you guys saw the visual. Morph Jungle had one up at Tinley.
Yeah, it was probably the animal most people talked about, I'd say.
Yeah,
or at least close to it.
I mean, that animal's insane. Right? we have our double het females growing up for them. They should be able to go next season. But hopefully we're pushing past the Sunset Ultramel at that point. Whether it's with incomplete dominance, adding red stripe into it, yellow belly, spot nose, things like that. Kind of the usual suspects.
Yeah, red stripe's gonna be dope as fuck.
I don't know if you've seen the red stripe yellow belly Ultramel is one of the best Ultramels there is.
It is, yeah.
It's insane. The contrast on that animal is amazing, and I'm always looking for awesome Ultramel females. with Incomplete Dominance just to stash away in the holdback rack or the grow out rack for the future.
Yeah, to me, Red Stripe and Ultramel, it's one of my favorite Red Stripe combos.
Yeah.
Don't ask me why. It's a simple combo, but Krista has one. It's fucking incredible.
Yeah, she beat me to it.
Yeah.
It trips me out how like fucking insanely powerful Red Stripe is. Like it's because it had that comeback, I think, 2019, or it was like all of a sudden Red Stripe was popping because of what Justin put out. But man, was he right? Because it is still like when I was just at Justin's place, me and Marshall were going through all Justin's holdback. It was Red Stripe this, Red Stripe that, like all Red Stripe. And I'm like, and then Redhead, dude. Oh my God, Redhead is another one that I'm interested to see the route that these go, you know?
Marshall has some of the best Red Stripe Ultramels there are.
Yeah.
I think he has a Red Stripe Confusion Ultramel or something like that. That's insane. But he's been working Ultramel since basically the inception of Ultramel. He's been working it since Caramel was mixed in with the Ultramels.
And we don't know how long this is going to last, folks, because Marshall's looking at all his racks and he's just kind of like, I don't know, ready to check out. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. With the ball pythons, of course, green tree pythons, emeralds, those aren't going anywhere. But I mean, there might be a chance to get a bunch of amazing Ultramel stuff from Marshall's stock, probably sometime this year, I think.
Yeah, I mean, again, if he's got Red Stripe Ultramels that he's letting go.
Dude, it was some of the nicest, if not nicest, Ultramels I ever saw came from this rack, and I'm taking pictures and I'm sharing in the Patreon group chat and like with other people, and they're like, "What the fuck?" Like me, just losing my mind. And he's like, "Are they?" He's like, "Are they really liking it?" I'm like, "Dude, what do you mean? Like, this is the nicest shit ever." But
well, I mean, it's also easy for him to say that when he's got the only animal in the world that is an albino chondro.
He has multiple, buddy. He has 2 now.
Even better.
Yeah, even better. Yeah, shout out to Marshall. Yeah, I mean, and also too, you know, he's a long time, you know, herper. He's been in the game since, you know, forever. You know what I mean? And so he's obviously, everyone at some point in their life looks around and they got to keep what makes them happy. You know what I mean? And so I don't know. Like I said, it's he's somebody where he's been working Ultramel for so long. Like that's why you see what is coming from systems. You know,
he bought into Ultramel before people.
Yep.
People were so scared to buy into Ultramel when he was purchasing Ultramels.
Yeah.
And he worked some of the best Incomplete Dominance into it fast with the blackhead, the red stripe. I mean, he got Confusion into Ultramel really fast, which is pretty awesome.
Are you going to put DG in the sunset?
Yeah.
And I'm assuming Hypo is going to be along with that.
Yeah. DG Hypo sunset. I saw the spot nose DG Hypo sunset that Justin produced.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, I have my double hets and my triple hets growing up, my females. And then hopefully I'll be able to buy forward with a male to take care of all those females.
That day ever does come, fucking hell freezes over and I get sunset. It's having Hypo in it 110% all day. Yeah. Nicest sunset combos I've ever seen had Hypo in it for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Cypress is another one.
Yeah. I was telling Emilio earlier in the week that one of my favorite animals ever produced was the Cypress Sunset Hypo. It was insane. I mean, it still is insane.
Yeah.
That's one of Brock's animals, or Winston. I can't remember if it was Brock or Winston who posted it. But absolutely insane animal. And I mean, I have the double het version growing up, but nothing close to that. I mean,
yeah. Hey, listen, I respect all the duo. There's not too many like successful, like, partnership breeder duos out there. I think Winston and Brock is like one of the best ones. They just make me laugh, and they both kill it on their ends, and it's cool to see. You know what I mean? Because like you said, it's like, I don't know, competition's so crazy in this game. You know what I mean? But when you're able to work somebody where that stuff's not even a factor, and you guys come together, I mean, it can be very powerful with what you can do, and it shows. It shows with what Winston produces and Brock, because they got that back and forth thing going on. Fucking crazy, bro.
They're also 2 of the best guys in the industry, you know, 2 great guys. And I feel like if you have, you know, like-minded people, or if you have great guys working together, it's a little bit easier than if you don't get along. And I mean, Brock has been around forever.
Yeah. It was Winston, dude. Even though he's not as old, no offense, Brock.
Again, they both
been around for a minute. Like I heard stories of Winston, 14 years old, running around on Eugene Pressette's property, and like he's been tapped in for a minute. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I was annoying Brock when I was a 10-year-old in Anaheim, asking him how many leopard geckos he'd trade for a caramel glow. So,
oh my God.
And let me say this, man, Winston, for as long as he's been in the game, he's one of the most passionate people about ball pythons out there. Guy's always happy, laughing, smiling.
He's passionate about passionate about his peers too, his keeper, friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he still has that little kid.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Look at this animal I hit. You know, I fucking love that shit. You know,
a little bit of Kyle in him.
That's another great guy.
Kyle. Oh my God! I got this. I got the. I can't remember if I met Kyle or not, but I finally did see him in person at Tinley, and it was something else, man. And that's what's, again, I think that's what brings everything together. Is obviously we get to work with cool animals, but the people, you know, like that's what kind of makes everything blossom. Is like-minded people who like definitely. You would say that, dude, the people you meet could really elevate what you want to do in this hobby. You know what I mean? It's all who you meet. I don't give a shit what anybody says. You can't do this alone. It literally is all who you connect with. And you know, and it goes from there, I think.
Yeah, I agree. It's all about the network you build. It goes a long way. You know, when you're in a pinch and you need something, the network you have is who you're going to go to. For help, who you're going to go to. For an animal you need, you know, when you need a breeder male, you're not going to go to a random guy when you need it quick. You're going to go to somebody in your network. You know, you're going to message one of your friends to see what they have. And I think huge.
Let me ask you this, Tyler. Like, who influences you on business decisions? Like, meaning, like, you know, like if something makes sense business wise, like, are you that person that steps up and makes that call? Like, does your brother put you in that position where he trusts, like, all right, that's a smart move. Go ahead and do that. Like, I'm curious, business wise, how's that working out?
I think a lot of the decision making in terms of projects and things like that, we do together. A lot of the big decisions on what projects to tackle, we do together. In terms of what animals to invest in, I feel like I try and push us pretty hard, just because I am young and I, you know, have a little bit more risk tolerance, I guess you could say. But my brother is amazing with the animals. He is, you know, much better at producing animals, much better at keeping the animals, and really dialing in our collection. And obviously learning from him for years and years, I've been able to dial in the collection that I have here in St. Louis. But in California, that collection is, you know, top tier.
You have two separate collections. So you have your brother in Cali, and then you're in St. Louis.
Yeah.
That's
so my brother's in Southern California. He works a couple of our projects. And then I work a lot of our projects here in St. Louis.
How often do you fly back to Cali at all, or not really?
As much as I can. You know, the last couple of years I've been really busy in medical school. But before that, it was very often. And then before that, obviously, it was all in one location. But yeah, as much as I can. I love coming out to the shows. We don't vend. We haven't had to vend. We just haven't had enough stock to vend. So hopefully this year.
Where are you selling your snakes at?
Either through direct marketing, with like Instagram, social media, things like that. I run my ads on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I don't really run ads on Twitter. I just started Twitter, but kind of through social media as well as Morph Market. Obviously before that it was King Snake. And then before that it was mostly just local.
What's your opinion on, like, you know, Morph Market being almost in a sense like a one-stop shop as far as like not only being able to sell, but like you could ship, get supplies. I'm wondering, have you taken advantage of using Morph Market shipping and gotten to experience any of that yet? And what's your feedback from it?
Yeah, I love the one-stop shop. There's nothing easier now than doing a label off of Morph Market. There's nothing easier. And frankly, there's nothing cheaper than doing it through Morph Market. So you might as well.
All that stuff makes me happy. I don't know what it is about like conveniency, like click, boom, there's my label. Cause like, think about like how it almost is a pain sometimes to be like, oh, I gotta go get another fucking label, gotta log in here and gotta like do this. And then for the most part, you know, like what was crazy is before Morph Market, the shipping companies would be all around the same price, and randomly you'd see one cheaper than the other, but it was always flip-flopping. So what I'm doing is every time I'm going, and I'm not cheap, I guess, but I'm going back and forth to see which one has the cheapest option. You know what I mean? And then I don't know, like, dude, like, oh man, like you said, there's nothing better than coming. Emilio's a big fan of the buy now option first and foremost, but like, you got something that's sold, you go to just market sold and create the label, one click, and there it is. You know, you put in the zip code for the hub station, and next thing you know, you got a sick ass label all ready to rock.
Yeah. One thing I was going to say is it's so convenient to do it, but also I was always stressed out that I was going to mistype something or put the wrong address in for the wrong customer and send a snake to who knows where. You know, send a snake to New York that's supposed to be in Florida. And with Morph Market, you go straight from the messages to the label, and you skip all of the human error of typing in the wrong address and typing in the wrong location and the wrong name and all that you have to worry about.
Yeah, man. And people got, you know, like I said, time's everything. And when you got multiple labels that need to be like, I've always lived in the perfect world where, you know, if I do ship, you know, maybe 2 or 3 are going out that week, but it's not 20. I'm not Bob Vu and Mark Bailey, like 20, 30 shipments going out in a week. So imagine when you are having to deal with that many shipments, like, the last thing you want to do is have to go to another window. You know what I mean? Like, or even do any more typing. Like, and everything.
And not only that, if you're shipping 20 animals, that's a savings of fucking what?
$1,000.
Yeah. I've already saved 1,000 off just 15 shipments.
Hello, McFly.
I think I've done 40.
Yo, they're saving $20 on a pet snake. It's the dumbest shit I've ever heard, bro.
That is wild to me.
Fucking dumb. Like, what the fuck are you thinking?
They're not. Yeah.
I was going to say, back in the day when we were shipping snakes, we were shipping through UPS, and then it became FedEx. And I mean, it's always been FedEx that I ship through. Yeah. I buy a label through Morph Market or Redline or ship your reptiles, but I always ship through FedEx. And every time I've had an issue with a snake getting stuck in Memphis or stuck in Indy or stuck in, you know, wherever, it's FedEx that answers any questions.
That's it.
And to be honest, what usually happens is the animal's stuck there until the next day, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Nobody could do anything about it. Period. Like, no,
it's
like,
locked. You can't go change a heat pack. You're not going to be able to do anything anyways.
Yeah.
Like even if you drove to the hub it's stuck at, you're not going to go see it.
Unless you're an employee of the hub station, you happen to have a shift during that time.
Yep, exactly.
You're getting your hands on that box. You know what I mean? No chance. And that's another thing too. It's like, it's almost like you should understand that the shipping part of thing is something that you yourself should have a relationship with your FedEx hub station employees. Yeah. Like they're the ones that are going to tell you because they see it before anybody else does. They see exactly in the computer that shipment that's supposed to be here today is going to come to tomorrow. My hub station people call me, dude. Yeah. Like, not only do I get my Morph Market emails, okay, shout out to Morph Market, but I'm just saying, dude, my hub station calls me and says, MJ, that package is stuck in Tennessee, and it'll either be here late tonight or whatever. But like, dude, but you know, you got to build that with them and go talk to them and stuff like that. And so,
I mean, even if you're going every other week, you know, you're the guy bringing reptiles.
Yeah,
there aren't that many people at your hub bringing reptiles. They're going to notice you. Yeah. And they're going to get to know you as long as you're nice to them. You know, if you're nice to them, just being nice goes a long way. Yeah. With the FedEx employees, they'll tell you exactly when the last minute you can be there is before cutoff. They'll tell you exactly, you know, what you can ship, what the plans are for the week. You know, it's huge having a relationship with the FedEx people.
And I will say this, okay, I for the first time ever, I've been going to the same FedEx for 7 years now. I walked in shipping out a couple chondros, and I walked in with the new Morph Market boxes, shipping boxes, bro. And the employees were impressed. They were like, "Yo, what is this?" You know what I mean? They were all like looking at it, and they were like blown away on how sick the new Morph Market shipping boxes are. That shows the preferred temps, like, you know, they have the Lacey Act label right there, like everything right there, ready to rock, bro. And it stands out great. I feel like,
yeah, I agree. As soon as I'm done with the boxes I bought before Darian decided to drop shipping supplies onto the site. Yeah. I'll be buying those
for sure.
But again, I tend to buy my shipping supplies in bulk. So I'm still going through 12 by 9 by 6s and 15 by 11 by 7s. But once I'm done, again, those Morph Market boxes are awesome.
Love them. I'm gonna send Emilio a bunch of them because I know he's gonna be shipping a lot this year, and I just want to see Emilio stacked with Morph Market shipping boxes with the Villarino sticker on it. Okay, no, serious. All right, so I got to ask you, Tyler, on going back to the hottest morph. You know, I want to, in a sense, what I mean by hottest morph, like what's the morph that you're yet to even know what the potential is, but it's new into your collection, or maybe it's not even entered your collection yet, but you want it. Like, what is it?
I mean, I'm always drawn to the NR Mandarin. The NR Mandarin project, I've always been drawn to it. We've invested pretty heavily into that project. And I think it's the biggest project that we have going that's untapped. You know, nobody's done combos outside of TJ. So I think that's the big gene for us, the hottest gene for us.
So let's talk about this because Mandarin is something definitely one of the most impressive snakes I've ever saw in person. I think it was a super Mandarin, which now has hypo in it. Now that we know that, I think it was at Troy Schroeder's table, and TJ Snake was at his table. He had it displayed.
Yeah,
and I was like, "What the fuck was it?" Like I couldn't believe what I was looking at. But then as things were kind of being worked with, there was all these like questions about like what is an actual true Mandarin, like what, because there was like some fake phony Mandarin going around at one point, and that's when I was like, dude, best Mandarin shit I've ever seen came from TJ, and I know for a fact. But there was also this other Mandarin that was like supposedly like it almost didn't look like it had anything in it, and then I heard that you have to have super Mandarin for it to even look remotely anything like it should, and then I heard you have to have hypo in it. So I don't really know like what direction Mandarin's at other than hypo being in it and it being a super form. Like, what can you give me about Mandarin?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, there's a lot of confusion, and because of that confusion, the first person I went to reach out to was TJ. The problem was the only animals that TJ had available were Mandarins that were triple het hypo clown pied, and the price tag was like $10,000.
Yeah.
Or something like that. So what I ended up doing was actually calling the founder of the morph, Piet Newton or Nguyen, or however you say his last name. I'm butchering it. But out in the Netherlands, and importing them from Europe directly from the source, just so that I didn't have to deal with the confusion of whether or not I had Mandarin, whether or not I knew what I was breeding and what I was going to have in my stock. And the biggest problem was a guy out of Florida, actually, who was selling a lot of Mandarins that were basically just fancy normals. And he sold them to a lot of big collections that got propagated and propagated and propagated.
Damn.
Yeah, he's not, I mean, he doesn't breed snakes anymore. He like moved to Indonesia and got out of here.
I guess that's the Florida move, huh, Emilio? Emilio was like, I'm never going to Indonesia.
No.
Yeah, dude, fuck. You know, and that's another thing, right? Like, it's just not that easy as far as like, you know, I don't know. A lot of things can happen. Like, okay, we talk about the Carmel gene being something that could fuck everything up, right? Like, there's that, but then also like being bamboozled, you know what I mean? And that's why like research is everything, and really like fucking inspecting who you're paying your money with, you know, like especially nowadays, there's so many freaking goddamn podcasts and like people talking, and like there's Instagram like like there's ways to find out if you should be spending thousands of dollars with this person. You know what I mean? There's so many ways.
I was gonna say I was pretty nervous, to be honest, sending money to a guy in the Netherlands that I barely knew, who had like 3 animals listed on Morph Market that didn't answer Morph Market messages.
Yeah,
which is why I only brought in 1 at the start. I said, you know, I'll risk it. What's the worst thing that happens? You know, nothing comes. Right.
What was that? What was that animal?
It was just a Mandarin. It was just a Mandarin female. I said, I'm going to stash this away in the racks. I'm going to grow it up. I love the look of the super Mandarin hypos. This was before we knew they were hypos. I mean, you could tell that they were hypo animals, or at least had hypo floating around in them if you were looking at them. So I stashed that animal, and then I bought another one from Piet. I imported my second import out of Europe. And then about a year after that, he reached out and said he was retiring from ball pythons. So he's getting completely out. And at that point, I was trying to buy up as many as he had. So that's when I brought in a Super Mandarin Hypo B that people love on my Instagram. I brought in a bunch of Hypo Mandarins from him, single gene Mandarin Hypos, and then a couple more just female Mandarins that are ready to breed.
So that female that you bought originally from the dude in the Netherlands, was it a baby or was it an adult? Well, how big was it?
It was a hatchling.
It was a hatchling. And what you mind telling us what you paid for that?
Yeah, it was $800.
Okay, it's not so you bought that one lone snake, or did you buy multiple snakes from him?
At that shipment, it was just one snake.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. It was like 500 for the snake and like 300 to ship it to the States.
Oh, perfect. It was 800 with everything with the ship. Oh, tight. Oh, fuck yeah. All right. So that lone Mandarin, when it got to the point of breeding, how big was your Mandarin stock at that point?
Very little. This wasn't that long ago. That I got into it. This is, going on year 2.
She hasn't even bred for you yet.
No.
Okay. So what's the game plan then? Let's kind of speed things up. Let's say next year. What are you going to do?
Yeah, I have a clutch, that's due to drop in about 2 weeks. I paired a lace clown het hypo to a Super Mandarin hypo.
Oh, what the fuck? You have you do? Duh. Oh, god damn. All right. And who that?
I should have Mandarin lace hypos that are het clown here this year.
Say that one more time, Tyler. I'm sorry, what?
Lace Mandarin hypos that are het clown.
Okay.
That's dope right there, bro.
Yeah.
Now, are you going to be shifting towards white lace with a lot of the lace projects? Is that the game plan? Put everything into white lace?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm still, if you look at my Instagram, I'm still picking up white lace animals.
Dude.
Just because of how impressive they are. And in the future I see in white lace, especially in clown. It makes everything look so much better. It ages amazing. And it really just takes every combo you can think of to the next level. I can't wait to see all of the combos that we love with white lace.
I hope my lace girl goes.
Before we leave this topic, bro, I really want to see a Super Mandarin Sunset Hypo.
I have the Mandarin Hypos that are het Sunset growing up from last year.
That you made?
Yeah.
Damn. Mandarin Hypo het Sunsets?
Yeah.
Oof. I gotta see that.
Put those bad boys together. I'm down for it.
Listen, man. The 2 snakes I brought up with Super Mandarin are the snakes I'm really looking forward to seeing.
Me too.
Those excite me. Mandarin without hypo does nothing for me. I'm that guy.
Yeah.
It needs to have hypo. But let me tell you that I love that snake, the Super Mandarin hypo. I fucking love it.
I was gonna say I have pretty much every orange snake you can buy. Regular orange dream, high intensity orange dream, Chris Hernan's like deep orange dream, orange dream hypos, and the very best orange animals that I've seen are the Super Mandarin hypos.
I mean, I to this day, I'll never forget seeing that snake on the display. I think it was in Las Vegas. I think that was the Vegas show where I saw it. Maybe not. Maybe before that. Maybe it was Arlington.
I think it was the first time he brought it out. Might have been Pomona.
Could have been Pomona. No, I don't think it was Pomona. Was it?
I know Troy has that animal, and it's an amazing Super Mandarin hypo.
It's freaking nuts. And like, to this day, it's still imprinted in my memory, like how amazing that snake was. And I was pretty far away from that snake, and I remember like being honed in on it. Like it was,
it's insane,
impressive. And man, you were just so many genes. It's like I what keeps standing out of everything we talked about tonight, Tyler, is like how like you don't work with everything, but you almost want to and mind you, everything's a huge fucking, that's a lot, but we're like, god damn, there's like when you think you got it all, you don't. Like there's just something like you hear and you're like, son of a bitch, you could use that gene.
I kept telling myself that I wasn't going to bring in redhead. That just wasn't going to be one that I worked until I saw an animal from JB Reptiles that I had to have. It was a redhead, spot nose, graveler, yellow belly, het clown. That I said, might as well not miss out on the ride, because like you said, something about being a breeder, you want to have one of everything. You want to have, your feet in the game of every project there is.
Yeah, and you know, ball pythons at this point, it's like it's still important to me, but goddamn, my mind's elsewhere. You know what I mean? Like but I don't not pay attention to things. Like shout out to Chad Holker Herps.
Yeah.
Bro, the special cypress shit that guy has, and the first redhead stuff I saw visually came from Chad, his table, and I was like, that's when I was like, that's a redhead clown. Like,
yeah,
holy shit, that's fucking smoking. You know what I mean? There's so much potential all over this goddamn hobby. That's why it's like, I feel like anyone who's really into ball pythons should be excited right now. Like this is exciting time right now, you know?
There's never been a better time to breed ball pythons than right now.
Especially because if you're here now, while the other ones are tapping out, dude, you did it. Like that's like you're pretty solid. Like because this was a huge drop off. Like it's almost not even like fair to. Okay, like life isn't fair, but I'm just saying like I understand why some of these people had to check out because of the situation, COVID. We're about to hit a recession here. I feel like soon. You know what I mean? Yeah. So things are about to happen, and I feel like people are just being smart. But it's like, man, if you could get through this shit, you could get through it. I feel like any situation. I feel like, you know.
Well, yeah, I think the big thing is you got to get to the point where the animals you produced are breeding.
Yeah.
Once you get to that point, a lot of it makes more sense from the business side of things. The animals will always be beautiful. The hobby will always be fun. Whatever level you do it at, right? Everybody's going to retire. Everybody's going to have to slow down. But there will always be animals that are beautiful. But when it starts making sense for you to actually be breeding is when you're able to breed animals that you've produced, animals that you have, that you've grown up, that you didn't have to invest, you know, tons of money into. Obviously we invest time, we invest rodents, we invest, you know, rack space, we invest water, you know, all the things you can think of, but being able to produce animals that produce eggs makes it make more sense.
Yeah. And like I said, like I feel like having a 1 or 2 good seasons is good, right? But if something happens to the feeding regiments, just like your maintenance, like you're not giving them good water, like the health, if the health of these snakes start to deteriorate just a little bit, it's not going to work out. You know what I mean? Like that's why like Emilio's fucking goddamn battling this goddamn flu, but it didn't stop him from going to fucking work. You know what I mean? Yeah. You don't have a choice. Like me, like I can't go to, if I know something's fucked up, like with a snake or something, and I don't ever, like in me, I can't just say I'll do it tomorrow morning. Like I can't, like I just can't, especially if it's something that I know is happening to the snake. Like even if it's stuck shed, like even, I fucking have to take it off. You know what I mean? So, but that's how it should be. Like it should always be the care of the animals should always be important. Number one, you know what I mean?
Well, two things on that. First thing, like you guys said earlier, the animals don't care if you're sick. The animals don't care if you had a really long day at work. The animals don't care if you're stressed out or tired, you know. And then the second thing is if you're not taking care of your animals aren't going to produce for you. You know, if they're stressed out because they haven't had clean water in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever you do, they're not going to produce clutches for you. Yeah. You're just not going to have a successful season. So you'll get what you put in to this hobby. You'll get what you put into to these animals. And the better you treat them, the better they'll treat you with eggs and with, you know, I think Emilio said it a few weeks ago or a few months ago, even maybe now, that we're like farmers. We're snake farmers.
Yeah.
The more you put into your crops, the better your yield will be. It's the same thing with the snakes. The more you put into your snakes, the better your yield will be at the end of the year.
Yeah, farming is a little rough. I don't know. I like to look at it like we're gardeners. Like, you know what I mean? Like I mean, in a sense, we are breeding animals, so that is more to farming. But I got a friend named Chris that does some weird farming shit that she grew up doing, like putting fucking hands up places and stuff. And I don't know, bro. Farming life is weird, bro.
Once you add
what we're doing is weird. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, once you add the rodents again,
yes,
you're gonna feel like a fucking farmer.
Fucking farmer, bro. Farmer MJ for sure.
Popping snakes is pretty weird too.
It really is.
So
it's the whole system. You got the whole system going, bro.
Just taking pictures of locks. Weird.
That's weird. Yeah.
And I love it. I need it. All right, listen, we're gonna do a wrap-up topic time of the episode. I'll go first, and then Emilio will go after. So my wrap-up question for you, Tyler, would be like, you know, obviously, I love your background in this goes deeper than a lot more typical new breeders that we have on the show. But if we were to take all your knowledge, right, that you've gained And if we were to hit the reset button and you were just to come into the game right now with all that you know, would you come in differently than you did in 2019 as far as investment side of things? Or I don't know, what are some do's and don'ts you feel like are important for anybody coming into 2025, you know?
Yeah, I think there are a few things that I do differently, just like everybody. You know, if you had the chance to make all your mistakes right or whole, everybody's going to do that.
Yeah.
I think one of the bigger things is going to be to invest in infrastructure early, you know, racks, professional racks, instead of trying to, you know, use the PVC that you put together yourself or melamine racks that you put together yourself. You know, invest in a professional rack. Another thing that I think you should do is really do your research into who you invest with, and try and buy the best animals you can for the budget. Don't try and buy animals just because they're a deal. Don't try and buy females just because you can or you have rack space. Make sure that everything makes sense in where you want to go direction wise. You know, you want the animals to make sense, and you don't want to get stuck with animals you don't want to do anything with 2 years down the line. And then, yeah, again, like everybody's advice, buy your females, get them going, wait to buy your male, and make sure it's a really powerful male to take care of those females.
Yeah, it's good advice. All right, Big E, what you got for him?
Well, Tyler, I like to ask this question a lot. Where do you see paint to scales reptiles in the next 5 years?
Yeah, I think in 5 years, hopefully at that point, we're just producing the very best animals we can. Hopefully we grow a little bit at that point and maybe even expand outside of breeding in a home, into a little facility. You know, nothing huge, nothing crazy, but something where we can put all the animals back under one roof again would be pretty awesome. And then hopefully expanding into, you know, breeding rodents, breeding, you know, other species as well.
So you have a chondro as well, right?
Yeah, I do.
Oh yeah. Okay. Thank you for bringing that up. Let's talk about that, please, dude. All right. We can't go this episode without bringing up this post. And I'm bringing it. And guess what? Biak is my bread and butter, my guy. All right. So look at this beautiful Biak, first and foremost. Did you get the itch? What's going on with here, buddy?
No, I was just scratching my neck. Sorry.
No. I wasn't even looking. Like, did you get the I was
funnier.
The screen, my bad. I meant the chondro itch. Did you get the chondro itch?
No, yeah. I mean, I've always loved them. Since I was a little kid, I've always thought they were impressive. But back then when I was a little kid, there were so many people were afraid of them. With how hard they are to keep, with how hard they were to keep, everything was an import. And I mean, even that little Biak's an import, to be honest with you.
God bless.
But yeah, I love them. I love how they look. And I wanted to, not because any chondro is worth less as an animal than another chondro, but I wanted to start with something, you know, a little bit cheaper, to make sure that I could successfully keep it, you know, raise it, go through an OCC, do all of those things before investing with, you know, Bill Stiegel or Garrick, or Marshall Mendez, if he ever sells an animal, something like that.
You know, and that's how I came. Well, I had no choice. Like, I don't have, like, when I first came in and I was in such a crazy point in my life where I was adjusting and money just wasn't on my side back then. And so my wife bought my first chondro for me as I think it was a Christmas present on Craigslist. That's $250 import, yellow import. And she's still alive right here. Her name's Mimi.
Yeah.
And, you know, but then, like, it was like my introduction into the game. And dude, I kept this thing under 2 lamps. Like, I totally fucked this up in the beginning, but it was such a hardy animal that I was able to, like, keep it alive long enough till I adjusted. And she went from the meanest fucking snake I ever had until I figured out I was kept keeping her too hot. And once I adjusted her temps, fucking sweetheart, which was crazy, you know, and she loves food. Don't get me wrong. Every Biak will always fucking go food crazy. That's just a Biak, but you know, I learned a lot off that one snake. And, you know, I don't know, man, it's hard to think how not a lot of like Biak's the strongest locality. Like, that's a snake that's sturdy as shit. Like, it's the number one locality. It's the strongest one, I feel like. But, like, you know, not a lot of these designers, not a lot of these potent animals can handle fucking bad husbandry as much as some of these can. And so, you know, $200 loss versus a $2,000 loss, or even a fucking $4,000 loss, like, that could really just say, fuck this. Like, I don't want nothing to do with this ever again. And what's crazy is like I've had chondros not make it, and I've had losses, but it came from imports, and it came from stuff that, you know, obviously I got what I could afford, you know, and it was still a big loss to me at that time, but it wasn't enough for me to be like, oh, no, I can never recover from this. You know what I mean? So I think that's smart. I really do. I think it's, and because mind you too, like chondros are not ball pythons. Like even though they're as easy to keep, if not easier, you have to still get to that point where, you know, like the temps, the husbandry, once you get that down, it's fucking easy. As I'm sure you already know now, it's easy as shit. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's been a lot easier than I thought it was going to be.
Right.
Really. I was pretty afraid when I got the baby Biak. It came in way smaller than I thought it was.
Yeah.
Just because I'm not used to a neonate chondro. And I was, you know, just excited to get going.
Yeah.
And it's doing great. I mean, it's starting in OCC. It's starting to turn kind of yellow.
Yeah, I see that.
Orangey yellow. It's even, I mean, that picture's pretty old.
Who did it come from?
The breeding lab. It's just some guy that was on Morph. He's actually at Pomona too.
Okay.
But I bought it on Morph Market. He dropped like 20 Biaks one day.
Yeah. I remember that. They all sold like pretty like much. I think that day they were gone.
Yeah. And I mean, I saw it that day and I said, all right, we're doing it.
Yeah.
And brought in the little Biak. And again, it's doing great. I have no idea when I'll find out if it's a male or a female. It's pretty feisty. I'm not getting in there and trying to probe it.
Yeah. No, don't probe. I'm against probing. You'll know in the shed. Trust me. Just keep looking. Like you want complete sheds, and look at the cloaca, and you're gonna see two little dicks if it's a dude. If it's not, then you're not gonna see little dicks. And that's the fun part, the reveal part.
I'm not worried about it. I'm just enjoying the animal for what it is. I'm just growing it up because I like it. Not because I think I'm going to breed chondros or be the next, you know, Marshall Mendez or be the next, you know, big chondro breeder, Bill Stiegel or anything like that. I'm just doing it because I like the animal, and I don't care if it just turns into a green snake, because I kind of like the green snakes.
I'm just saying, if anyone's thinking they want to be the next Marshall, I would think twice. Like Marshall hasn't had it easy, man. Like he's gone through a lot, and I know firsthand because I've gone through a lot, and he's helped me go get through a lot of this shit, and it weighs a lot, dude. Like as far as like, you know, because you have like me, I'm attached to these animals, man, and it's always a fucking sad day if something doesn't make it for whatever reason. But charge it to the game. It's gonna happen, and there's nothing you can do about it. But yeah, I think it's cool to see your excitement and your passion. Yeah. And like I said, I do recommend anyone who's unsure. There's not plenty, but there are people out there you can get your hands on an affordable import. Gary Scavino is one of them, GS Reptiles, who doesn't get a lot of them, but he does inquire some nice established captive born and bred imports sometimes. And so, and Dan Mallory, you know, DM Exotics, who's out here in LA. That's always been my favorite, most like a good experience was imports was Dan Mallory for sure. That guy's, I feel like he's done it the best for sure.
I was going to say, I still keep the chondro away from the ball pythons just because I do, and it's an import, and you know, no idea, right? Yeah. I tested it for Nido and all the different paramyxovirus and crypto and all sorts of things with RAL. But it's living on its own, and it'll live on its own until I get more of them. And just setting up a little setup. I can't wait to get into a focus cubed cage. Really. Yeah. Just because I want it as a display animal. Yeah. More than anything.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna happen. Those BX grow quick, so you'll be having one in a focus cube in no time. But all right, listen, great episode, my man. I appreciate it. 2 hours went by really quick, but we have hot seat questions for you, okay, Tyler? So this might have been easy, but it's gonna get a little hot right now. Okay, you cool with that?
Yeah.
All right, guys. You know the deal with that part of the episode where it's hot seat questions. Get the likes up, please. All right, we had a great crowd tonight, just shy of 80 people. So do me a favor, let's get the likes up for Tyler. Hot seat questions. Tyler, the way these work, quicker the better. Rapid fire, okay? And then you're going to get hit with Emilio's weird fucking 3 have to go, 2 have to stay, 1 you have to think about it. He really throws you in a loop, so be ready for him. But, all right, here we go. Hot seat questions. Tyler, painted. Scale Reptiles coming hot. You ready?
Yep.
All right, Frozen Thought or live?
Live.
A cut or no cut?
Cut.
On what day?
57.
Red Chondro Neo or yellow Chondro Neo?
Red.
Designer locality?
Designer.
Yay imports or boo imports?
Yay.
1 reptile you would import to your collection anywhere around the world, what would it be?
Probably a marine iguana if I had enough space.
Yeah, you need
You need an ocean.
aquatics. Yeah. Shit. That's a good one though. All right, here we go. Yay sports or boo sports?
Yay sports.
Favorite sport?
Basketball.
Nice. Favorite basketball team?
The Lakers.
Woo! I was gonna say Clippers. I don't know why, but you know what's good, baby. Let's go.
Nope.
All right, Lakers. All right. Big flexor or no flexor?
No flexor.
Respect. Steak or fish?
Steak.
Favorite cut of steak?
Filet mignon.
Can't go wrong. Yay alcohol or boo alcohol?
Boo alcohol.
Nice. West Coast rap or East Coast rap?
West Coast rap.
Favorite West Coast rapper of all time?
Snoop Dogg.
Woo! I like that. All right, little word association. Say the first thing to come to mind. Milk.
Cookies.
Substrate.
Coco.
Stuck shed.
Soak.
Instagram trolls.
Who cares?
Best shipping in the reptile game.
Morph Market.
Last but not least, coolest reptile network in the world.
Trap Talk.
Let's go. Go, Emilio.
All right, man. I think you know how this goes. One's got to go.
Okay.
All right. DG or Hypo?
DG.
Yes.
Awesome.
I like him.
Sunset Puzzle or Sunset Ultra?
Sunset Puzzle.
I like him. Good answer. That's a good one.
Spot Nose or Confusion?
Confusion.
Wow, I like that. I wasn't expecting that. I like that.
Damn.
I like that.
Super Chocolate or White Lace?
Super Chocolate.
Oof. Oh, I would not want to be asked that one. That one sucks.
Sunset or Monsoon?
Monsoon.
Whoa, dude.
Damn.
Wild right now.
Damn.
That one's a no-brainer.
Hey, you know what? I film on that. I see more potential in Sunset than I do Monsoon. Because the pattern, if you fuck up that pattern, it's over for Monsoon. You can't fuck up that pattern.
I love the pattern too. I mean, you're gonna turn it black and white, you're gonna turn it orange, and you're gonna make it a pied.
There you go.
Yeah. DG Exanta Clown or Super Chocolate DG Hypo Clown?
Super Chocolate DG Hypo Clown. Gotta go.
You made it all up right there, bro.
Oh, great, bro. That's probably the best fucking hot seat answers I've had all year. I mean, that was great.
Hell yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, bro. Listen.
It was awesome to be here tonight. Thank you guys again.
Yeah, we're glad to have you on, bro. Yeah, thanks for coming on. Again, you had nothing but love in the chats tonight. Just shy of 80 people tapped in. So what do you have to say to all the love and support you had on tonight's show, Tyler?
I just want to say thank you. You know, it's awesome to see people come out. I tried pretty hard to message people the link to try and get people to come out, and I think it's awesome that there are 80 people listening to me. You know, I don't think there should be 80 people listening to what I have to say, but it's awesome that there were.
Nah, I think man, you're doing amazing.
That's great.
Your future is fucking bright.
Fuck yeah! Only because of your goddamn age. You're young. God, dude. You got nothing but greatness ahead of you right now, my man. I'm excited to see it.
Thanks. Thanks again. It was awesome being here.
So, is Instagram the best place to follow you in case anyone wants to see all your work?
Yeah, Instagram or Instagram's the best place. Painted Scales Reptiles. Right. It's T Hansen PSR on X or Twitter, whatever you call it. If you want to follow me there too.
All right, I'll put all the links in the description below. But guys, do me a favor, go give him a follow. Give it up. It's a wrap for Tyler Painted Scale Reptiles, ladies and gentlemen. Good show, my man.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good night, Tyler.
Awesome. Thank you.
Later. Dude, good show. That guy's cool. I like him. So young.
Dialed in to the 10th power.
He gives me Stephen Kush vibes. You know what I mean? Like not your typical 25-year-old, not even a little bit. But this is why I love this hobby, because you got motherfuckers like that in the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Threw you off.
Right stuff. It's got the right stuff coming, bro.
Threw you off, huh? The monsoon sunset.
No. You know what? You know I work sunset, but what am I more excited about? Without a doubt, is my monsoon stuff.
Yeah. But overall, I feel like as far as what has a roof that's bigger than the other, I think sunset.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta have the right stuff.
We'll see though. And again, this is
I think you have a chance to miss miss less with Monsoon.
Yeah.
So, but again, Monsoon's near and dear to my heart. So,
Facts.
you know, his answer is his answer. You know,
I only give two shits about Monsoon because of you, for sure. And then obviously, and then I started seeing it in other like examples of like why Monsoon.
Justin's hit some dope stuff too.
Right.
I mean,
yeah, it's all there.
You know, it's gonna continue. You know, so.
Great show tonight, guys. Villarino Reptiles on IG. Subscribe, V Unit family. Best place to get a lot of great knowledge in the ball python game every Monday night. Appreciate you, Big E, Top G. Give it up. It's a wrap for Villarino Reptiles, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, guys. Good night.
See you next week, dog. Appreciate you so much. All right, thank you so much to everyone who hung out and tapped in. Before I let you guys go, please get the likes up, hit the subscribe button. If you hit that notification bell, select all, you'll be reminded of every single podcast released out of the Trap Talk Reptile Network, the only reptile network that is serving you new episodes every day of the week, Monday through Sunday. What do you know? Now, listen, if you're looking for exclusive content, if you want to get more behind the scenes, all right, if you want to get tapped in with some of the best people in the reptile game, then please consider joining the Trap Talk Patreon family. You can join the Trap Talk Patreon family by clicking the very first link in the description below. You're connected to a Discord. There's an awesome Instagram group chat. We talk about it all, guys. I'm telling you. Trap Fest 2025 is going down, and I cannot wait. It's going to be one for the books. Right, I feel like it's coming up. Man, this year's flying by. But again, shout out to my Patreon members. You guys are my heart. And before I let you guys go, please, you know the deal. Sorry for the interruption, folks, but a quick word from our sponsors. Diversity when it comes to a reptile diet, I feel like is so important. So this is why I'm proud to announce today's sponsor, Blake Exotic Feeders over in Florida.
What is up, everybody? Blake here, the owner of Blake's Exotic Feeders. We have all quail available at all times, produced here at my ranch from button day old, from Conturnic day old, all the way to extra large Conturnic quail. If you guys have any questions, DM on Instagram. Appreciate the support, you guys. Make sure you guys hit me up. We have all the quail like I mentioned, and everything is shipped right here from my house.
If you want the #1 quail sent to your doorstep and more importantly fed to your reptile, no better company than to go to than Blake Exotic Feeders. #1 quality in quail, hands down, and I gotta tell you, my reptiles love it just as much. It'll give you a peace of mind to know that these quail are grown on his property and it's not bought third party. Head over to his website, Blake Exotic Animal Ranch, to place your order, or you could just hit him up directly on Instagram. Let him know that the Trap sent you and he'll take extra good care of you. Thank you so much, Blake, for supporting the Trap, and also thank you so much for sending me top quality homegrown quail for my animals.
Hi, I'm Devin.
I'm Teresa, and we are Pragmors. We are based in Czech Republic, a small country in the middle of Europe.
We really love animals that revolve around multi-recessive projects, and one of our very favorites is Hypo. We're really looking forward to clutches that are coming this season, and some of those are Hypo Clown, DG Clown, Hypo DG Clown, and one of our all-time favorites, Hypo Puzzle.
Hope you enjoyed the next episode on Trap Talk, the greatest reptile network in the world.
If you guys want to see next level cutting edge ball python projects, please make sure you head over to their Instagram to follow all their amazing work, and head over to their website to see what they could possibly have available by heading over to progmorphs.com. Thank you again, Devin and Teresa, for bringing some of the biggest heat worldwide in the ball python game. Gee!